this over and over again about the penalty of leadership. And it just kind of stuck with me. And when I got a chance at work, I photocopied it and brought it home. So the practice, once you get psychic self-defense, then you can start developing your psychic abilities. Now, you see these little books like these used to be the cheap books. And then they be sitting on a little shelf. And these, when all of the rest of the books was $5 or $10, these was like a quarter. But these little books like this pack a wallop of a punch sometimes. And a lot of them are out of print now. But they had a lot of good information in these old books. Right. This one is developing psychic abilities. Right. And so, yeah, it gives you like stuff to practice, to do, to exercises in developing your psychic ability. So that's good. So the other day, on the Young Elder, we did the show and I was talking about the made-up Cherokees that want to make us be Hebrews. And I was like, that's because the clergy, the missionaries came over here with that bullshit first. So these are books about the missionaries, right? This one is American Indians and Christian Missions. So if you don't know about the white man's burden and what it is and who sanctioned it, then you won't understand why the clergy is the ones who they leading the way for conquest to other peoples around the world, right? So if you look at the cover, you'll see they got this tall, slim European guy and all these natives is in the room. And it's talking about how they was bringing the church over here, right? This one is called Missionaries, God Against the Indians, right? So when you looking at the history of missionaries, you studying this because you're trying to figure out how did your people get saturated with this biblical dogma. So you need to know how the missionaries move. And this one right here, all the day long, missionaries reaching tribes in the Amazon, right? So they documenting all of the missionary fallacies and shit, or the lies they told us in order to convert us to the dogma. All right, this one is David Brainerd, pioneer missionary to the American Indians, right? So they telling you they sending missionaries to specifically target the American Indians. Now, they try to make a separation in the varying groups of missionaries. And this one is about the Jesuits, natives and missionaries in 17th century North America, right? So when I be telling them stuff, just because I don't produce the receipt right there, it don't mean I don't got it. It's here, right? One of my all-time favorite books is the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. This is a desk edition. The crazy thing about this book, right, when you talk about the Mandela effect, this book, I had spilled some coffee on it, and it had these spots on here. Now, the spots are missing. So I'm looking at the book one day, and I go online, and I see the book online. They got the 2 spots of coffee right here, but I got this one. They look the same, except the one that I had 2 spots of coffee right here. But now the one I got don't got the 2 spots of coffee, but somebody online had the same book with my 2 spots of coffee. That's the type of stuff that be fucking with my mind. Right? So this is my Emerald Tablets. I had another one, but I gave it to a sister because it was part of her part of her initiation rite. So that was the up to date version of it. This is an older version, right? So that's all the books I wanted to look at today. I got a whole nother stack I can go through over there, but I'm gonna look at some of the comments and see if any questions could have been answered. Okay, so it don't look like it's just comments. All right, so that's all I wanted to go over. So I'm gonna let somebody come in so I can smoke this blunt and then we can have a conversation. I want somebody new. They can say what they want, but people watching me expose myself to all kind of people all over the land with questions, getting detailed answers. What's going on, God body?
How you living, God?
Well, tell the people where you chiming in from. Tell them what to call you by.
Chiming in from CT. Just call me Twanye, feel me? The name given.
You said CT, that's Connecticut.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, Northeastern House. Yeah. So what you had on your man?
Yeah, no, I literally just tuned in as soon as you were talking about the summoning, or like the magical circles, and it clicked in my head because I remember in SpongeBob they was trying to do the circle to do. It was like a protection circle with the sea bears, and how they were saying like certain people can't be touched when you're in the circle. So it's like for me.
Mm-hmm. No, you can use
And then
it
I
for
was
psychic self-defense in what you call the moving circle. That's why people
and I
not
was
just, you know what I'm saying, give me 3 feet. If
yeah.
they within 3 feet of you, they in your circle. Right. So they in your energy field. When you turn your God powers up, they gonna at least need to give you a minimum of 50 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's when they say, give me 3 feet, give me 50 feet, motherfucker. And it turns up. But they didn't really turn
For
up for
sure.
real. They just talking shit because they genetic memory told them that if they turn up, motherfucker got to give 50 feet.
Nah, facts. And another thing clicked when you were saying it because obviously this whole premise about standing on your square, but a square is 4 corners of 90 degrees, and 4 times 90 is 360. So that's a full circle right there
Mm-hmm.
in itself.
Mm-hmm. So when they
So
say
I was like,
standing on your square, heels together, toes apart, that's a 45-degree angle. That's the symbol for the upright man. Right. So when he slightly leaned to the side when his load is heavy.
mm-hmm.
So when you go look at Angel Bay, you'll see that he's carrying a heavy load, and he needs to put that shit down. And he needs to be compensated for being indisposed on his own land for trying to do what was necessary to redeem it for the people.
Heavy is the head
Right.
who holds the crown.
Mm-hmm. So your heels is on pi when you're in the center of the circle. Pi is the center of the circle, 3.14,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you stand on the center of the circle, you 45 degrees, whichever direction you turn. If you 45 degrees, whichever direction you turn, you only need to make 3 turns in order to cover 4 corners, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
33, 66, 99, 120,
You done? Okay.
132. So we talking on the 490 flips or the 445 flips is 290s. On the 360, that's a half a circle, right? So we talking geometry being utilized for your spiritual development, and then you use the geometry to identify others who's standing in their rightful position.
Hmm. Okay. That's a pre-mathematics.
So somebody say, why is New York City and South Carolina so important besides the Gullah Wars? And what are the tribes that came from there? It's a lot of tribes that was up through there, right? So when the first settlers came as Dutch, French, and Portuguese and Englishmen, they went to the Northeast first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were up in New York, and New York is named after Yorkshire, England, right? And they came over here wearing something called knickerbockers. Knickerbockers is the name for the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
They named the sports team Knickerbockers because the pants Knickerbockers was signature European clothing. So the Manhattan tribe is a war tribe. They are the ones that's supposed to sound the alarm. Then they got another name too, but they got a sister tribe in a 5-family confederation in New York, which makes up your 5 boroughs. The Shinnecock is another one of the major tribes out of the New York area. That's where ODB's Chief Crazy Horse was from.
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn myself, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar.
So even if you look at the boroughs, we still tribe up.
Mm-hmm.
We still,
Definitely clicked up out there.
yeah. We make friends in all of the boroughs. When it comes down to it, we going back to our borough.
That's a fact.
Right, a borough is a small donkey. Right,
Yeah,
and they said
funny.
that the Christ came riding into town on the ass, a
Mm-hmm.
small donkey. Right, so the Christ that's coming in is the light bearer that's riding the donkey. That's the ass, right? And the boroughs is in New York. It's 5 boroughs, but only one of them is gonna have the prince. And now we're talking about the one who's named the light, Nosir, aka
Mm-hmm.
Nas. That's a Queensbridge flip, right?
Yeah, that's a romantic flip.
He traced back to Pocahontas.
That's crazy.
So all of the chiefs being identified, I didn't identify hundreds of them over the last 2 years that people didn't even know was one of the chiefs. And I still haven't identified all of the ones that's out there that we should know for doing their work, because it's just so much to tell. I can't tell it all by myself. I need some more grids, some more OGs to step up. Like
Mm-hmm.
E40 doing the footwork. So we can't expect him to stop doing the footwork to come tell us about it. He's doing the real time shit in the Bay of uniting the tribes and the chiefs, right? Which he comes up on the Wind Talker channel on the flip that he was the one that was maintaining the good relations between the righteous. And he understood it was feathers versus fezzes, so he bumped right off the fez flip, off of the Dirty Moors. Right? So we got all of these chiefs. They all coming, right? And they all being identified. But sometimes the data, the information being so much spread be lost back there in the beginning when I told you about this one. I'm not talking about him no more, because we passed that part now. Now we got to expose another part of the game until we get it all exposed.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat was asking, does a chief know they're a chief?
When it's time for you to become active, you can't not know.
Yeah,
but you do know
that's
that
what I was.
you can't say so,
Mm,
lest you kindle the wrath of the artificial legal fiction, the Agent Smith effect
yeah.
to the ninth power. So the ones who know they chiefs, like for instance, Big Meat's job, he ain't just supposed to go around saying, "Yeah, I'm a chief, and I'm supposed to teach the young chiefs how to live with money when they come into the being the chief."
He's just
He can't do it
supposed
that
to
way.
do it. Mm,
But the ones who watch his moves and that can read his energy know who he is. Right? He the chief whose job it is to say when we get this money, it's not gonna change it. This is how you live with it when you get it. So you can be the same genuine motherfucker you was when you was broke. You can't get the money and stop being genuine. Right? And the money be going to our people here. When they get a little money, they feel like they better than their brother.
hmm So I really just gotta live by example, and energy
Yeah.
going pursue.
And that's what he was doing. He didn't mix them up in his business dealings, but he took them everywhere and gave them everything to show them how to live like they had their money. Ain't no restrictions. You free, motherfucker. These bitches don't run us until we turn on him in the form of government agents and infiltrators.
No, that's true. That's pure. Ain't
Then
nothing
you
to
got
say
Jay
about that.
Prince. Jay Prince' only job is to teach y'all about the art and science of respect. That's his only job. They got to carry yourself respectable so that y'all can understand what he means. Master P is the master businessman. The P flips to the small B on the turnaround, right? And the small B is a little businessman that know how to make it big.
So I got a question. How how do we identify the three kings amongst the many chiefs?
They got the most of the organic people of the land support them.
Okay, people's champion.
Yeah. Anybody that's coming out of that system of politics is not our leader.
Yeah,
Because that system
that's
of
everything.
politics is a corporate legal fiction that's stationed in a place in order to make sure you never get to. They can't sit on the throne, but they sure can do everything they can to stop you until you get on that motherfucker and you get an order off with their motherfucking heads.
Hmm From my comprehension, I figured that the energetic antichrist would come from politics. Like the first or
Look,
the first
all
false
that's
coming.
bullshit. That was Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, that's
That
what.
he was Damien from the Omen, Rosemary's Baby, aka the Demon Seed. That was his
Hmm
life when they cloned him.
Yeah, he was a surrogate.
He was made from a clone from the mummy of Akhenaten because they knew that it was Tupac turn, right? And so they was gonna before Tupac was born, they was trying to create or genetically produce one of the elders that would override him in power position, but he already had his rule. So none of us can take the rule of another, but he can pass it forward when his reign is blocked.
He said he was gonna spark the mind of the next one.
Right. So he already told y'all when he come back, this shit gonna be over with. Wake me, you know what I'm saying? Is what he say? Wake me when I'm free.
Hmm
That means when this shit is over with, now I'll be back. Wake me when I'm free. He gave me the gorilla knot. So him and Big Stretch was in Oakland at an elementary school. I think it was Oakland. Could have been Baltimore. But he was at an elementary school and the little child asked him how we was gonna get out of the situation we was in as people. And he told her, well, I really think we're going to need some guerrilla tactics.
Guerrilla
It's the
warfare.
same as they're telling you the story of T'Challa calling Mbuku to come rule because these motherfuckers is blocking him from the throne. And the Gorilla King don't want the throne. He wants the right motherfucker on the throne. That's all he wants. And if you can't put the right motherfucker on the throne, I'll clear that motherfucker and sit on it till he get here.
Mm-hmm.
Just so the shit is in its proper order. The proper order is to raise the matriarch, because the whole time T'Challa wasn't the king. He was the king, but he wasn't the ruler.
Yeah.
The ruler was Angela Bassett, the Angela Bass, which is the Finny Shakur. Right? So she's playing the role out in the movie, Angela Bassett, the Angela Bass, which is Bass Messenger, which is her sister in Black Girl Magic. So she gonna get the part that's gonna tell the story of what happened. Right? So they said that the aquatic tribe went to war with they tribe, and they the only ones that had this material. What the fuck's the name of that shit? Y'all know the name of it. The material that they be having to make all that superpower shit.
Vibranium.
Vibranium. Right? Now, the reason why she's telling you about vibranium is because they telling you about Haiti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
how they was harvesting all the mountains out there.
Yeah. Now watch this. He swam from where he at and popped up in Wakanda, right? But Wakanda's supposed to be cloaked in the center of Africa. That means it's landlocked from the ocean. It's only rivers there, right?
Yeah.
Right? But in order for him to come from under the ocean and come up in Wakanda, Wakanda would have to be some kind of way on the ocean. Basic deductive reasoning. Because if it's not on the ocean, if it's landlocked from the ocean, this motherfucker not finna swim through the ground.
Yeah, no,
right?
It's like in plain sight,
right?
Honestly.
So we know that the first place that Christopher Columbus landed was Hispaniola, according to the history books they tell us. And we know that the first people to defeat a major European military force was Jean-Baptiste Dusable, aka Divine Insight. Right? We know this. And we also know that you gotta go out the same way you went in. You're gonna see the same shit in reverse playing out on your way out as you seen when you entered it going in forward. So you gotta look back to see the future.
Yeah.
Right? So they say they don't look to the past because that's behind you. Don't look back. But you can use the past to look forward if you turned around. Right? So you read the patterns, you follow the energy signatures, and it's going to give you the blueprint. The blueprint is the laws and orders given by the Nation of Growth and Development under Larry Hoover. Right? So when everything starts shaking and you start watching the information in the codes, you win talking now. Because now you have to learn how to communicate back when you read those signs so that you can be able to communicate with the other chiefs on the land without the aid of human intervention and devices.
No, you be talking heavy, bro. It's like I don't think people really comprehend. Like you piece shit together so immaculately, it just don't make it makes sense that it don't make sense.
Blame it on Wu-Tang Clan that I figured out about the Wu way. As I in the 36 chambers, I bumped into a killer priest, and he told me it had to be heavy mental
Mm-hmm.
in order to unleash these killer bees. And I told him the mental is heavy, so I'm going to unleash these gorillas, similar to killer bees, but sting a little worse. Ain't no need for an ambulance, bring in a hearse.
So we still need that mixtape, Rob. We still need a Rod Hayes mixtape.
There's one floating around. Morpheus the
Heard it.
General on SoundCloud, but it's a dark page now.
So now we need that
So I
back,
have to
man.
share the links in order for people to see it.
We need that link. Put that link in the chat.
I don't know if you can access them on Instagram in the chat when I put the link up, but I could put them up I could share the songs on Facebook.
Whatever you got, man. We need it. We need those vibrations.
Well, once you get one of them, then you can access the rest of them. That song I was just quoting from is called Real Life the Cadence. And it's say, listen, this is real life. Get the game from me. You know we talking about real life pain and misery. I learned to spit this platinum style now, trying to break free. Refusing being held down, trying to break free. So it's say, I'm heavy in the rap game with this platinum style. I teach my baby girl and she laced with platinum now. Bitch made ass niggas that tried to hold me down. I keep a set of twin Glocks, fully loaded clips, and I'm similar to quick draw when I hit the hip. So stay away from. Oh, that's a different song. That's real life. The cadence. This is real life. Get the game from me. Know I'm talking real. And that's the same song. Pain and misery. Learn to spit this platinum style. Now time the clock.
Yeah, now you got to say it like
Be
that with the
heavy
little.
in the rap game with this platinum style. Teach my baby girl and she laced with platinum now. Bitch made ass niggas that tried to hold me down. I'm similar to quick draw when I hit the hip. Stay away from gunplay if you really want to live.
Okay.
Military mindset keeping me on top. I ride on this government until they pockets dry. Reparations up in black men clean up the block. Listen, niggas live a hard life. Niggas need relief. I'm talking about them projects, misery and grief. We all fall victim to this governmental thief. Taxation so hard it feel like change to me. No job for an ex-con. What I supposed to be? Violating my parole if I try to sell a key. Nigga, back to the PNB for the count of three. Nigga, this is real life. Get the game from me. You know I'm talking real life. Pain and misery. I'm spit this platinum style now. Trying to clock a G. Refuse to being held down. Trying to break free. Help me break. Help me. Let me see. Oh, how that shit go? Oh man, I forgot my bars, man. It's been so long.
Definitely some like spirituals in there, some Negro spiritual bars, vibes. Like there's definitely everything in there, all coasted in one.
Yeah, it's like
Like you can
help me
feel the
break these
energy.
chains, ma. I'm trying to get free. Like poison in my brain, ma. So much misery. Am I going crazy? Is this insanity? And why am I the black sheep, despised and cast out? And tell me why they fear these words from my mouth. The struggle in this life like a lion in the mouth. Treat our babies to the feast, never feel remorse. Obstacles in my path, alter my course. But I'ma lay it down, ma, even using force. Got the spirits of the ancestors from a harsh past. Saying never give up, nigga, never kiss ass. Nigga, that shit, man. That was my shit.
That's tough. That's tough.